Hey everybody, it looks like I am live. So if you're hearing me okay, somebody just send a message and just make sure that we're good. We're silver. Hey gold. Everybody, it looks like silver, gold, and blue. Team Honey, I think Team Honey is saying, hey, 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 hi from Michigan, Kathy. Laura, Sharon, oh yeah, built to be woke, love it. Deborah, Bruno, Gregory, Tom Flaherty, Laura Kay, and again, Team Honey here. Sounds are good. Thank you, Francis. Thank you so much from that. Hello from Georgia. Such a beautiful state. My gosh. Christine, I love you. Angelica. Angelica Munoz, I love you, Angelica, so much. Tina, Jill, William, my coach Kathy. Oh, she's wakey, awakey, Grady. We love wakey, awakey. Amy 333. Oh, Amy, holy cannoli. We love you so much. Grace, Debbie from Australia. Hey, hey. Debbie, loving you so much as always. And yeah, Amy 333. If I make you cry anymore, you're going to be devoid of tears. And if you make me cry anymore, I'll be devoid of tears. So come on, let's just make a pact with each other right now. No more making each other cry. But I love you so much. You're wonderful. Are you going to Scarborough Fair? I live in Scarborough Fair. Scarborough Fair is here, and I live here. And that's the greatest gift. It's available to everyone. $29.95. But if you act now, yeah, it's ridiculous. It's all free. 24/7, 365. It's all free. And I don't mean to rail on those that Gimini, nope. So here I am doing the podcast upstairs, and we've got Colleen and Aaron downstairs, and they can't keep the dogs quiet. So seriously, what are they good for? Uno momento. Guys, Gimini, enough. Come sit down. Enough. Come on, come sit down, Gimini G. Gimli the dwarf. A beautiful dog, one of our 26, something like that. I don't know. And just so everyone knows, with the animals in the Animal Rescue Sanctuary, we are, with the 10 new kittens, we are, I think, at like 56 now. So that's insane. And any little bit that you can do to help with regard to the food or the cat litter, anything like that is greatly appreciated. You don't have to. Always, this is all free. But what we kind of see ourselves doing, Colleen and I, with the animals, is this idea that we're doing it for everyone. And there's a lot of you that I know that would do this if you could. It's difficult. It's difficult to do these things when you live within a city and you live in organized society, and they just make it so hard. But we're in a condition, we're in the middle of nowhere, so we're able to do this. And so again, I just want to, this is let you know that that's kind of how Colleen and I feel, is that we're doing this for everyone because it's the right thing to do. Not that we had a plan at all to do this, not at all, but yeah, it just happened because there's a need, and we responded to it. So if you can't, don't worry about it. We'll make do. If you can, every little bit helps, because there are just so many of them. But it's a blessing for sure, especially those cats are amazing. And it's so funny because predominantly the dogs are on the main floor, the main level, and the cats are up on the second level. Very, very cool. Cats climb high. and they got 9 lives. So very cool. Okay, so wonderful to see everyone. I apologize. I don't know why I didn't have the video going. I just noticed that I didn't. So it's on. We're all good. And it's wonderful to see. It's wonderful to see all of you. And again, just looking in the chat, it would be so much fun. JC Razel, JC, and again, Amy, Marty Landau. Wow. Tina, William, Juliet, Deborah Jones, Christy, of course, Valerie, and the new white potato, and Ben. Somebody had a plan, Charlie. I know it, Ben. I know it. And yeah, we're just doing our best. But it's funny because I think some of the people that of the family that jumped the gun and came down here early. I think some of them have looked at this and have just shaken their head, going, "What are you two doing? Because this is insane. This is insane." I think some of them have just looked at this and going, "This is wow," and we don't even know where to help. But huge shout out, because so many of you know Eugene. And right now, Eugene is staying with Justin, and Colleen found them an amazing, wonderfully great place, very very affordable as well. And so Eugene comes over about 5 days a week. We're already started building Eugene's house. It's going to be gorgeous, just focusing on the first level for now. And yeah, so it's all very, very exciting. Eugene's so excited, and he's so young, and he's so passionate. He's so full of life, and just a brilliant kid, as all of us are at that root level. If we take the masks off and we just be honest with ourselves, we really are. We're all just brilliant creations of the Creator. But Eugene, very, very special young man. And so he comes over 5 days a week, and he's walking all the dogs. So, I mean, it's huge. It's a huge effort. And just amazing. Never asked anything. And he's always asking, what else can I do, and stuff. And yeah, we just love the stuffings, and so do the dogs. They love the stuffings out of Eugene as well. And so his house is already underway, coming along. That's what we're just trying to do for the base, which we're going to get into tonight. We're going to talk about all of this stuff, and what it's going to look like, and how all of this works and stuff. But a big shout out to Eugene, because Eugene has, and I'm sure he thinks it's crazy as well, but Eugene just dove in headfirst to help us, and it's an enormous task, but he has. And then V, who came to us as a friend of Eugene. V, she is from Quebec, and she's absolutely amazing. Again, like everybody that's here are just such very, very beautiful, special individuals. And V has been a huge help. And now what's wonderful is that Aaron, who's just an enormous help to us. Wonderful. If you're ever wondering about Aaron, you know you've got a great one with regard to Aaron. Very, very mature, very, very consistent, very serious about doing the work, reading a lot, really just focused, asking questions, sharing beautiful information, and helping. And so V and Aaron have gone out of their way to help Colleen with regard to the t-shirts and some other things with regard to the website. So they've been an enormous help. And remember, they're doing that not just for us and for themselves, but they're doing it for all of you as well. Because if you could be here, you would be doing these kinds of things as well. So they're kind of doing it for all of us. And that's, like I said, how we tend to look at this with the animals. So we know that you do it too, if you could. It just has to be done. And you can't say no to them. And there are times insane, but anyways, it is what it is. So a wonderful family. And everybody helping so much, and things are coming along, you know, really beautifully. But what I just wanted to clear, I talked about this with the live Q&A with Justin on Friday, and that is we're not ready. So if you're feeling a little bit cheated that how come they're there and you're not here, they're not supposed to be here. This is the thing, we're not really ready for about another 5 or 6 months yet. There's just a host of things that have to be done. And plus, it's the rainy season here now, and it just makes things a little more difficult to do and take a little bit longer. And also, because it's the rainy season and how it rains here is that, yeah, you can't just pitch a tent in a Mexican rainstorm. So it's just not really, it's not the right time of the year for us not to have a whole bunch of infrastructure for people to be safe in. And even if people wanted to pitch a tent, you just have to be under a covered area, a raised and a covered area. So these are all the things that were started. And the whole idea is to create an infrastructure here through all of us, where when everybody comes down, then, you know, they won't have to worry about money, that they'll be able to come visit and take a look and just see what's happening, get a chance for all of us to meet one another, which is, you know, again, it's a gift to us as well. And then, you know, you just sort of see how things work. But the heart and soul of the show tonight is kind of explaining that not just everyone can come, and that if not everyone can just out of the blue, you know, show up and whatnot, then how does this work? And so Colleen and I just sort of intuitively came to us that it's all about doing the work. And Justin had a little show earlier tonight, and I'll address some of that in a little bit as well. But Justin was speaking to it and just saying, you know, it's all about the work. And Colleen and Charlie, that's what they are. They're just all about doing the work. Again, because every morning that we rise, our ego rises with us. And that's what's going on in the world right now. And this is a large reason why everything is being dragged out by the Q team right now, because right now, and this is all God's plan, but right now, God is saying to us, and this is what I decoded for you in the book of Revelation. That's what the book of Revelation is all about. At the end times, and the end times are the end of this materialistic plane, so that we can return to the higher realm, so that we can ascend back to connection to God, instead of going through this ridiculous illusion that there is no God and separation from God when God's within it. But going through this procedure, it's so clear that it is about doing the work, and that's where you just need to be. And so it doesn't deprive anyone from coming to visit us, and that's what we hope everyone will do, is to take the time, and when the time is right, to plan and come and spend some time here and get a feel for the area. Scoop some poop. Aaron has been helping a lot with scooping the poop, and it's graciously accepted. Let me tell you, graciously accepted. And so, but it'll be wonderful for everyone to come and visit and get to see you, because we're all so deeply connected with one another, and it truly is a gift. Now, coming here and potentially living here, what we're talking about are for those that are serious about being part of just something better. And the better is family, real family. And there's no bickering and arguing and fighting, and there's no room or need for any of that silliness and ridiculousness, because we're all of the same Father, we're all of the same one Father, the same one Mother, and therefore we're all true brothers and sisters. We truly are. And so, and we all, whether we realize it or not, we all want the same thing, which is this knowingness. You have to be at a point right now where you're just sick and tired of all the lies and the not knowing, right? It's the not knowing that kills you. because that creates that stress and that worry and that doubt within us. And then we're at war with ourselves, within ourselves, because we don't know anything about the truth. God is the creator. Creation is the truth. God is the truth. Jesus Christ is the one that rose and ascended first as the example for all of us, because Jesus was not about light and love. Jesus was about the truth. And you don't have to worry about light and love, because light and love are the key principles to the truth. But if you don't have the truth, you don't have light and love. And you can't argue with that, because look at how many people tell you that they're light and love. Look at so much of the spirituality industry, which was cooked up by the Rothschilds and think tanks. How many people are telling you that they are spiritually all together and that they're 5D crystalline structures and whatnot? And they're not, because you can twist light. You can break the light through a prism into a spectrum of 7 colors. And then you're into the chakras. And then a person can be saying that they're the purple crown, but in actuality, they're the red Muladhara chakra. And you can't do that with the truth. The truth is the truth, and the truth is holistic, and the truth answers all questions, ties all things together, and it fears no investigation, because it is the truth. It is the light of the world. It is the way. It's Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ was the truth. That's why he was the light of the world, and that's why he is the way. And that's why only through him, only through Jesus Christ, can we enter into the Father. That's how all this works. And Jesus can't rise without the mother. So it's all about the family: father, mother, child, 1, 2, 3. It's easy as ABC. I'm talking about do, re, mi, baby, you and me. And they all mean the same thing: father, mother, child. That's what's being said. I like little Michael. I like little Michael. I like teenage Michael. I love superstar Michael. I love accused Michael. And I love fake dead Michael. and I'll love the return Michael even better, because Michael went through hell and he chose life. And he particularly chose to try and heal children so that they didn't have to go through what he went through, to be part of the Jackson 5. So that's what we're about. And so when I say that it's all about doing the work, what does that mean? What does that actually mean? And so we just start this teaching paradigm again, and then we start this journey again. So it all starts with the food. So you need to take the food seriously. And it doesn't mean that you need to be 100% down, that all you're doing is just juicing your food. This is one of the couples that are coming down relatively soon, with which are Rick and Tasha, who are amazing. Just absolutely, it's just a pleasure, like it is with all of you, to interact and to converse. They're absolutely amazing. And again, they're not 100% down with just juicing up oranges all day long and drinking the golden orange, or just eating watermelon all day long. But that's okay. It's a journey. What we're saying is that a deal breaker is meat, dairy, and eggs. So if you're not past that, it doesn't mean that we hate you, and it doesn't mean that you'll never ever be allowed to come see us or ever be. It's just a journey, and but you have to get certain steps. You have to get a certain distance along the path that is straight and narrow to get to a point where really there's no turning around. It's what we teach. It's what Santo Spinachi teaches as well, that you go so far down the path that is straight and narrow with the virtuous thoughts and the work that you're doing, the selflessness and the helping of others, that you go so far down the path that is straight and narrow, there's no turning around, because the path just keeps getting narrower here and here till you just get to that point of light. And out of the darkness comes the miracle, which is the light. That's God. And that's God. And so, that's the thing. You don't need me. You don't need anybody else. If you just, that's what I said to you from ages ago. If you just become righteous, if you just focus on the seven heavenly virtues instead of the seven deadly sins, you'll get to God. Because when you follow the virtuous path, it is a path. It's the path that leads you all the way to that source of that light out of the darkness. Don't fear the darkness, because in the darkness exists God. Out of the darkness came light. And that's the truth. That's what's important, is the truth. And the truth incorporates love and light. But short of the truth, love and light can be manipulated left, right, and center, as we're all too aware of. So it's the truth. And there's only one enemy of the truth. That's the ego. And that's your left brain. In the right brain, it's just humility, and it is the penitent man, humble before God. And it's easier to get a camel through the eye of a needle than it is a rich man into heaven, right? I've gone over that allegory 1,000 times about the east gate of the ancient city of Jerusalem. You have to get off the camel, and you have to take the load off of the camel. The camel has to get upon its knees, and the camel won't go through that low gate to the east of ancient Jerusalem by himself, because he loves and he trusts his master. So the master has to get on his hands and knees before the camel and lead the camel on his hands and knees through this east gate. Now, why would they do that? Why would they do that? Because it's always making you, after you've come back from your materialistic plane adventure and your collection of these worldly treasures, you need to be reminded that the only treasures of any real value are the treasures within you, and that comes through God. And so it's this pay it forwardness because of the incredible gift that God bestowed upon us by creating us in the first place when He didn't have to, and just loving us without judgment. Right? There's no angry, judgmental God, white guy with a beard, or no, there's none of it. There's none of it. If you are lied to from the moment that you're born, and the doctors are in it, and your parents are in on it, and all of society's in on it, and then they put you in all of these prisons, and being in your home, I mean, they put you in a crib, which is a prison cell, and then send you to school, which is a prison cell, and you come home from school and you watch TV, which is a prison cell, you go to the movies, which is a prison cell. Everywhere is a prison cell. God's not angry with you. He's has tears that any pair of rents would be okay with having their children go through any of this. So God is not in judgment. He's just waiting for you to do the work and to get to Him. And that's all that this is about. And this is all that Colleen and I are saying. And whatever that looks like to you is totally up to you. It's just completely free in that regard. All Colleen and I are saying is that we know that this is why we're here. It's why all of us are here. And because we've done the work, and we'll never, ever stop doing the work. Because that's the thing. You can't, I've had people tell me, somebody has, Charlie, I just want to let you know, I've killed my ego. And it's like, okay, well, that was great for that day. What happened when you woke up the next day? Because when you rise, so does the ego. And if you're not doing the work that day, then the ego will trick you, because it's very clever, and it will outsmart you because it's very clever. And then it has you again. And until you go back, Jack, and do it again, do the work that we're supposed to do, then around and around and around the wheel you go. So it does. It all starts with the food. And so if you're not there yet to say, Charlie, you're right. We are frugivores. There's no two ways about it. 100% inside and out, we are frugivores. So you're right. And I have to wrap my mind around that. And it isn't easy for me, because my parents were this and I was born here, and for whatever, no judgment here. What we're simply saying is that if that's the case, you're not ready to be here just yet. It doesn't mean that there won't come a time when it's perfect for you to be here. So it does. It starts with the food. And the reason is because, I sometimes I just feel so even guilty for just teaching all of the horrificness of meat, dairy, and eggs. And cheese is heroin, and the heroin receptors of the brain are there to greet cheese when you intake it into your body, because it's just heroin. It's pure evil, and it's clogging up everything, including your blood-brain barrier, and therefore the tiny synapses for the supposed to be pure blood flow in your brain. And that's why everybody's getting dementia and Alzheimer's, and the brain is just seizing up and they can't remember. And that's just simply because the blood can't flow. So you just become virtuous. And so it starts with food, and I feel guilty at times talking about how evil. So I don't even want to talk about that stuff, about how bad it is for you and how it just clogs up. It just pollutes, and it coats. It coats everything inside of you. It's a sludge. And then your cells and your cell walls, everything is tied to one another, and they're all receptors. It's just messages, ones and zeros everywhere. It's communication. And so no longer your body's able to properly communicate. And this is what then leads to cancer. And there is no such thing as cancer. And there are no such thing as cancer cells. They're just your cells that are dying almost as soon as they're created, because acidosis has become so prevalent within your system that the only thing they can do to survive is to die and regenerate new cells in the hopes that the new cells will find the cure. And the cure is this. It's one of the cures. And what you're looking at is alkalinity. This is orange juice. Orangal, orange angel. The orange angel. And this is what you do with it. You just go like this. That's delicious. And it's so light. And I feel so light. And after a meal, I don't feel all heavy. And I have to lie down for a while. And it's just because you had a long, hard day. No. It's because you've done what you're not supposed to do. Examine frugivores. Learn. Do some research yourself. Learn about frugivores. They nibble at raw fruits all throughout the day. They don't sit down and have gargantuan meals, and then your body's going, oh, Lord, what are we going to do with all of this shit? Well, we have to try and make sugar out of it. We have to try and make fructose or sucrose or fructose. We have to try to make the natural sugar out of the shit. And they're like, we can't do it. You know who we have to call? He doesn't want to be disturbed. We have to call him. He's the only one who knows how to do this. He told me, don't bug me anymore. He's busy at the North Pole. But you have to call Santa Claus. And then Santa Claus stops with the melatonin, stops with the serotonin, stops with the dopamine. And then he has to become first responder at 9/11. And that's what's happening. Every time you sit down, you have a big meal. Even if, you thought it was, really good vegetable foods or something like that. If it's heavy and there's so much of it, it's not doing you any good. You're not supposed to sit down and have huge quantities of food at one time. Your body goes into a comatose, and that's why you go into a comatose state. And then what's horrific is, and they know all this stuff. So that's why TV dinners, and that's why television is so connected to the kitchen, and television is so connected to meals. And when you're finished your meal, you go watch TV and stuff, because then they got you by the balls, because you are in a zombie-like state because of the heavy foods and the mass quantities of food that you eat. And then they got you because you're in your midbrain, and your midbrain is a VCR, and it's recording everything that they tell you. Remember what I taught you. Your midbrain accepts because it's not a Philadelphia lawyer, it's a child of God. So your midbrain accepts everything as the truth. Why wouldn't it? Why would anybody lie? Why are there people that do these things? Why are there people that lie to other people so that they can have more of something, regardless of what it is, than somebody else? Try to prove that they're better that's so sick. But there are people that do that. But your midbrain doesn't know that. It's pure. It wouldn't think along those lines. None of us would if we were balanced, or if we were to the right, if we were alkaline. But we're not. We're diseased. Disease means that you're acidic. And in that fallen zombie-like state, you simply accept what it is that they feed into you, and that's it. So there you are on the sofa in a comatose state, and your mind is in a comatose state, and then you're watching Friends, or Three's Company, or I don't want to, I don't know what these other shows. Everyone makes fun of me because when I make references, it's always 30 or 40 years old or something like that. So, but you're watching this stuff, and whatever they tell you is becoming your belief system. And that's why you can't have beliefs. You have to know. And the only way you can know stuff is if you do shit. But if you go to school, you can't do shit because they don't let you do shit. They just make you sit there and be filled with shit. And then somebody asks you at 16 or 17, what's your life? And you just shit. Everything's just shit. People are full of shit. I'm fucked over 50 different ways, and everything sucks. And so it's always shit and fuck and suck. And it's because you're way down low in your energies, your chakras. You're just down in the Muladhara. Mordor is the Muladhara root chakra. And the sexual chakras are just up from the bowels, the sacral plexus. So that's why everything in your life are those words, because that's where you are all the time. That's why everything begins to smell funny and stink, because literally that's where your spirit and your essence is being kept, is down there. And it literally affects every single aspect of what you do, including your sleep. And then you can't sleep properly. And if you're not resetting every single night, then you just don't have a chance. You don't have a chance. They own you. They own you. And it all starts with the food. So doing the work starts with the food, and you're a frugivore, and you just look at frugivores, and it's mostly, pretty much virtually raw fruit. Some vegetables, some seeds, some nuts. But it's mostly just raw fruits. And you reach up to heaven to get them. With a vegetable, you can see the difference, because with a vegetable, with a lot of them, you're rooting around down in the soil. But there are things like tomatoes, which people think that they're vegetables, but they're tomatoes that are growing up. And so they're actually fruits. And then you have cucumbers that are above the ground, and they're sprouting out, and in Victoria and Canada, they like to grow, they like to curve and curl and like to grow up. They're weird, but it's cool because they're seeking God as well. And the ears of corn, they're trying to reach heaven. And so you just, as long as it's not Monsanto, but you're just looking at all of these things, and the higher you get, the better it is for you, and the less weight there is to it. And so that's the whole idea, is you're not supposed to be weighted down. You're a frugivore, which means you're an athlete, not just of the body, but of the mind. And athletic minds are quick. So we're very, very, very smart, and we're very, very quick. We can make decisions, judgments very, very quickly. We're adept. We're athletes, and that's what frugivores are. So, and if you observe them, little bits of food throughout the day. No, never any big meals. And they're always together as families, as one. They're always helping one another. They're so kind. So it starts with the food. And if you're not there yet, and it's meat, dairy, and eggs, then you're just not ready to come down here. If, and I can say with, like, for example, with, say, Rick and Tasha, if you're still, predominantly cooking your meals and stuff, but, you're vegans and you're consuming lots of vegetables and some fruits and stuff, that's great. It's a journey. And how long it takes you to get there, I mean, that's entirely up to you. But you've done the big thing, which is that you're not killing animals. You're not taking the life of the creation of the mother on the material plane. She's the God of the material plane. That's what Jesus says. And all these books that are going to come out, you watch, all of them will show Jesus in absolute reverence, the same way he is to God for our sacred feminine mother, Mary. He is. And that's what he says. We owe her the same allegiance here upon the material plane as we do God in the metaphysical plane. He is God of this plane. And so to get him, you have to get her. There's no two ways about it. And she is what is birthing everything to life. She's borning everything. She is. She's our mother. All of our mothers, we have the same father and we have the same mother. Guaranteed. That's not an allegory. That's literal. That's the literal truth. All matter comes from the mother. All soul or spirit comes from the father. I do not have the ability to create soul and bestow it. Nope. Nope, I don't. So I play a role. And I took my role seriously and still take it very, very seriously, as it's very, very important. They're our greatest physical treasure are our children. Does it take the children to make this a better land? Get behind me, Satan. Get behind me. So the first obstacle in our way is the food. And like I say, so, trying to teach about the sludge created and the death that is meat, dairy, and eggs, I feel guilty of sometimes teaching that because that shouldn't even matter. You don't force rape and then torture and then mutilate, murder a living creation of the mother and the father. You don't. You don't. It's the most obvious thing to every single child. The only reason that at a certain point you just stop thinking about it is because they've beaten you over the head. I mean, think about most parents will make you sit at the dinner table until 10 o'clock at night until you eat your meat. You can't have any pudding unless you have your meat. How can you have your pudding if you don't have your meat? You got to eat your meat. Why are they screaming at you? Why have they got our parents wrapped around their fingers about this meat thing? Because it's a one-way ticket to hell. That's why it's a big deal to them. And if you eat your meat, you get pudding, and that'll kill you too. They just got you everywhere you turn. It's so freaking evil. So it starts with the food. That's what we're talking about, the work. Now, as important as the food is, and it absolutely is, and we don't have to get into all the rewards that come with just being light. What happens is that your cells begin to transmutate, and they literally do, and your cells have less weight. And so instead of your cells always traveling along your arteries and your veins down at the bottom, because they're always weighted down because they're filled with matter, and then everything matters in your life, and you got an opinion, you're worrying about everything because everything matters because you're filled with matter. When you're drinking this, then your cells are filled with light. Light has no weight. So that's how you rise. And literally, this is the literal truth. Those people who are frugivores, their cells exist in what could be described as a homeostasis state, in that they are flowing down through the middle of the channel, which is a parable for the middle way. And because they're no longer just filled with matter, and they're not down at the root or the muladhara base of the vein or the intestine, they're now floating on thin air in the middle way. And they're in balance, and they're in peace, and they're in harmony, and the system is working as it's intended to. It intuitively, speed of light. There's no speed of light. It exists. It's here. Sun's right over there, not very far away. Less than 50 miles. That's it. Oh, I'm pretty sure it's 1 million miles long. It's 93 million miles away. Nope. No, it isn't. It feels, looks, tastes, touch, smells 50 miles away. Same size as the moon. Yeah. They do pretty much the exact same things. It's the miracle. It's the mother and father, and they love each other. So, the key, the benefit of the food is that you become filled with light. You begin to rise, and then your mind rises, and you're rising out of the lower brain fear. You're raising out of the midbrain lazy tape recorder, and then you just do whatever they say because it just records everything as if in verbatim, as if it was the truth. And you rise here to the frontal lobe. And if you're ever going to take any thought, then you better take it from the Sherlock Holmesian brain, which is the frontal lobe. And this is deduction. This is you deduce with a quick and clever athletic brain and intuition, because you're in unison with God. And here's the cool thing. You can't get to the third ventricle of the brain, you know, the third ventricle right here, centermost, innermost spot of the human body and mind is the third ventricle of the brain. You can't get there from the left. The only way you can get there is through the right way, the right hand side. It's going around Atlas, up and to the right, crossifixion, which is cruci. Cross in Latin is cruci. Crucifixion is cross-fixion. So you cross the lies that are the body's entrenched with, and you have crossifixion. Cross the fiction into heaven upon earth on the right-hand side. It's the only way into the third ventricle. The only way into the frontal lobe is through the right hemisphere of the brain. You can't get there from the left. So there's thought. The left brain is just pure thought, but it's lower and midbrain. That's the shit stuff. And that's where virtually everybody spends their time, because everything about organized society is forcing you into your left brain. It's forcing you to have an opinion on everything. It's forcing you to have an ego, which then owns you and rules you. If you haven't seen the movie Branded yet, Justin put it on his link tree, then it's a very disturbing movie, because it's not fun to watch, because you're watching yourself and you're observing your ego, and that's not fun, to have to take a look at what we were or what we are when we choose to be in the left brain. But it is the truth, and it is so powerful, and it makes people feel very uncomfortable. And sometimes I will observe everyone who's watching it, and it's a heck of a process. It's the same thing with Guy Ritchie's movie Revolver. If Guy Ritchie ever did anything, he's a talented director, but I mean, freaking Illuminati through and through. But he knows, he's a smart guy, and he knows a lot of truth, and he is a very talented director. And if there's one movie that he did that is absolutely a gift, that, you know, you pay back maybe a dime for the bajillions that they make off of us. That gift that he gave back to us was the movie Revolver. And it's a complete allegory. It's a complete allegory of your left brain and your ego. It's what it is. And the only way out of it is you know, a camel going through the eye of a needle, and to become humble and penitent. And that movie is hard to watch. And again, I've watched people watch the movie and watch them physically suffer as they watch the movie. And a lot of people will just get up and go, because somehow, some way inside of them, they're connecting that this is all of us in that fallen state. And it's hard to watch, but watch it we must, because we have to learn from our mistakes. So what comes after food? What's holding us down? The weight of the world, which is the left brain and taking thought for ourselves and the ego. So what comes next? It's as simple as breathing. And breathing just sounds so almost contrite, because it's so simple, is breathing. But breathing is what is leading you to the baptism of fire. And if you want to turn a little fire into a massive flame, you just apply some breath to it. And then the flame is a raging tempest, because you've applied some air to it. So breath is very powerful. And so breathing is what is necessary to get us past the blood-brain barrier. So your diet will raise you up, and it will heal the physical body, and it will get you to where you're at this blood-brain barrier at the throat chakra. But you have to cross the fiction, and the crossing of the fiction comes through this breathing. And this is why yoga is so important, because what yoga was originally created to do is to teach you to unify two worlds. So it's all about diaphragmatic or Buddha breathing in perfect balance and harmony with these physical positions. So you are taking the physical world and bringing it halfway, and you're taking your deep diaphragmatic body breathing and bringing it halfway, and then half and half between the physical body and your breathing, you create the ability to make your body supple like a frugivore. And you can begin to do miracles with your posture, and miracles with your poses, and miracles with the length of which you can be still, which is everything, is this stillness and silence. So you see, that's what every good yoga instructor teaches, is proper breathing, and they work and they work and they work and they work on the breathing. They don't care so much about what the posture or the pose looks like at all in the beginning. It's all about the breathing. And then great yoga teachers all want you to hold the pose, because that's the temple. That's you in the temple, in complete brilliant unity between your metaphysical and your physical as one. And that's the heart chakra. That's the middle way. That's 4 of 7 chakras. That's the gateway that crosses the fiction and leads you up. So this is the charge that is 1,000-fold, that is 1,000 times more powerful than food. So everything starts with the food. It absolutely does. Nothing will change until you first change your food. Through your food comes the gnosis of the breathing, and the breathing is doing the work. So you see how easy this is? One is accepting that you're a frugivore and beginning on your own time frame. Once you know better, do better, at your own time frame, to do the work, change your diet, no heavy meals, and you're getting away from cooked foods. You're just eating raw, and you're getting away more and more from the pulpy, heavy vegetables to the super light fruits, which basically is just flavored, colored alkaline water, which is ultimately, what you need. And so really a juice fast is a water fast, because that's all that juice is just colored, flavored alkaline water, which you would be having on a water fast. So that second step is doing the breathing. Okay, so what is a Buddha breath? What is diaphragmatic breathing? Once again, if you can do this in pairs, you watch your partner, just get the other person to just lie down on the ground. You can put your knees up. It makes it easier to see if you bend your knees up, and you're just lying back and you just begin to breathe. And your partner is standing over, looking towards you, standing, say, over your hips and looking towards your face. And then what they will observe, guaranteed, that the first thing that moves with every single one of your breaths is not your chest, it's your diaphragm. So all breathing is diaphragmatic breathing. And the demons have done this incredible job of teaching you to become shallow breathers. It's incredible how good they are at being evil. And that's so much of what most of us have become, is just shallow breathers. And in shallow breathing, you're not connected to God, because you have to pull up the old to get the new. And that's why you always have those allegories associated with God and with Jesus Christ, is out with the old and in with the new. And it's breathing. So it's a deep breath in, all the way down to the base of your windpipe, which takes you down to your diaphragm. So here we go. And you just feel, when you really do that surge to really pull it in deeply within you, you'll just see your big Buddha belly, come out there. And that's why Buddha has the belly, because it's Buddha breaths, Buddha breathing, diaphragmatic breathing. That's how you still yourself. That's how you silence yourself. So yoga is such a key, because yoga is the pass. And when you master yoga, you've passed, you've gained the pass, and then you get the key. The key is meditation. Absolutely, without a doubt, meditation is the key. It's a fiery key And it is what literally, this fiery key is what goes into the portal, which is your pineal gland, and it opens it up. And that transmutates you through a black hole or through a wormhole. It transmutates you into the presence of the Father. And this is where this best friendship, and this is where these downloads, and this is where the knowingness comes from. And it is absolutely essential. And nobody teaches it. There's 1,000 books out there about meditation. None of them are teaching you the right way. And I'm talking about the ones that are on the bestsellers list. I'm sure that there are beautiful people out there that have written, and without any fanfare, elements of the truth about what proper yoga is. And just the other day, on the live Q&A, we met Peter Palma, and what an absolute treasure it was to meet all of you. You're all just so beautiful. We're not playing favorites here, but it was just wonderful to meet Peter, and to hear that he's a yoga instructor, takes it very, very seriously, and that he teaches this breathing is the key to yoga. And it's so exciting because it is. Because if you can master yoga properly, if you can master yoga, okay, which is practicing balancing yourself, unity consciousness, then you will absolutely be able to meditate. That's why all the ancients practiced yoga. This is why yoga is such an ancient tradition, and always kept and held in such high regards, because it is the yoga what is giving you the pass to the key, which is meditation. So if you can do yoga properly, correctly, if you've mastered it, you can absolutely meditate, because that's all it is just going into your temple and silencing the nonsense of the left brain. And then you just wait for that perfect moment. You never know when that'll be, right away or a few moments away. And then he comes, and you know it. You absolutely know it. And you know what's being shared with you is the truth, because you see the wholeness of it in every single moment. And it tingles you. It just it resonates with you. So what so many people say about Colleen and I and our teachings is that, so much, I don't know, but I'll tell you what, it just all resonates with me. Yeah, because it's the truth frequency. It's on that frequency of 107.1 FM. And so it resonates with you, because that's what you are. You're the child of God. So you're pure truth. And so you resonate with the truth, and you chaff at the lies, and you want to get out. So, my life makes perfect sense to me about hating school and skipping so much school and just being in music stores and record stores and audio stores and whatnot. That's where I wanted to be. I couldn't stand school because it just seemed to me there was nothing of value. And I was fortunate because I had a sort of a photographic memory, could memorize this stuff and regurgitate it the way that they wanted, to be able to get those grades that they wanted. And then therefore I had parents that just said, he has no problems with his grades. If he's not at every class, so what? Less work for you. If his grades are an issue, then we'll revisit this. If they're not, don't bug us. So I got to miss so much school in grades 11 and 12, and that was an absolute gift from God. And that's all I was doing, is just going to these wondrous places. And then you just meet the coolest people in the world. People really care, and they're just going, I think you'd like this. Take this home. You don't even have to buy it. Take it home. Just read through it, just see. And if you like it, bring it back, and you can buy it. If you don't, no harm, no foul. And so many incredible things came to me that way. And that is my religious tradition. Because our family, we didn't have any formal. So in many ways, I'm very fortunate that I didn't grow up with any of that formality of organized religion. In some ways, like with the Bill Donahue, it's such a blessing because he knows the Bible so well. And I've come to know the Bible so well because it's amazing. You just have to know how to read it. It's like any book, there's a cipher, and you just have to apply the cipher, and then everything makes sense. And then it's the greatest book ever. Until that point, it's a difficult, hard read. And most people say they've read the Bible from cover to cover, but they haven't learned a thing, which is exactly how the church wants it. It's just such a shame, because it's our book. And it's not 2,000 years old. And it's, you know, as long as we've been around, that book has been around because it's our manual. And same with the Bhagavad Gita. These are all the Bibles. They're just the Bibles for these different cultures. So don't ever look down your nose at Buddha and Buddhism, or at Krishna and Hinduism. They're all the same, just different traditions. It's beautiful. And then they have a different take and a different approach, and you learn through them, with them, and it just makes you wiser. It makes it better. And all you just go, oh my God, that's so. It's like wow, and they just fit together, and you just become great friends instead of enemies, because you're all talking and sharing the one story. So the second step is your breathing, and this leads us into brain waves. And so there are 6 brain waves that everyone agrees to. 5 are beautiful. 1 is chaotic. And that's this world. And that's why everything is transmitted via beta waves. Beta is this broken system that they make us live. And so what does a beta wave look like? It's like this, and it's a little bit, and then it's big differential, and then it's just, different speeds, but it just all seems to move quite quickly, and it's very, very chaotic. And if that's you inside, then you're never going to still yourself. You're never going to find peace. You're not going to find rest when you just try to go to sleep. You won't sleep because beta, 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 and it never stops. Just beta, 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 and on you go and go and go, racing at 1,000 miles an hour, never looking backwards to gain any perspective as to where you came, chasing that promotion, chasing that next dollar bill. And then it's over, and around you go, and you do it again. And every time it gets worse, and that's a gift. Every time the wheel just gets worse and worse and worse, and that's a gift, because God is just trying to help you hit bottom. And eventually, when you hit bottom, you just go, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this anymore. So I'm putting aside my pride. I'm putting aside my ego. I'm going to say, for the first time ever, I don't know shit, and that I need help, and that the only help that's out there is that help within you. Because if you go searching for help to God in religion, that's the opposite of the teachings of Christ. It's the opposite of the teachings and the creation of God. It is. So you have to go within yourself. And it makes perfect sense, right? Because you going in within you is open 24/7, 365, costs nothing, don't need a manual. See how easy it is, how it works? Space. How you know there's no outer space? Because it's ridiculous. God would be an elitist dickwad if he created outer space that way. Because the only people that can afford to go into outer space is a small group of people who are into disparity. And so they make virtually all of us poor and fighting against one another so that they can collect the balance of the funds. So they've got all the money, and then they go. And then the only way we go is to serve their ego. And then we go with their ego into space. And that's just sick. That's just sick. And, you have to enroll, and you have to take an oath, and you have to go to the courses, and you have to take these courses. Stupid. Infinite space exists, but it's within you. Why? Because it's open 24/7, 365, doesn't cost anything, and it doesn't require a manual. And that's what the Bible teaches you. You are the Galaxy class star cruiser, and you're Captain Kirk or Captain Picard of the USS Enterprise. And you have to enter within to get the prize. And you have to boldly go where no man has gone before. And that's within you to face your ego. So that's where the Enterprise kept going. And Captain Kirk, who's the Christ-like character in the middle, is supported by the tall Vulcan up and to the right, the pineal gland, and the emotional doctor down and to the left, the pituitary gland. There you go, 1, 2, 3, father, mother, child. And there they go together on all these adventures together. And what are they doing? Turning wrongs into rights. That's putting aside the ego. 5-year mission, a 5-year mission. Why would Roddenberry say a 5-year mission? You know the answer. You can do this. Yeah, you know it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Throat chakra. Crucifixion. Crucifixion. You have to go, IR in Latin, you have to go between the K's, Kirk, K, 11, 11, the temple. And in between, you have to go, boldly go, IR, K. You have to boldly go where no man has gone before. And that's face your ego and say, F you. Enough is enough. You're a joke. You're bad for everyone and everything. Out you go. Get out. Get out of my ship. You remember that episode with the Klingons and they're fighting each other back and forth, and nobody could die. Their wounds were transmuting and healing at record pace, so they could just come back and fight. And that entity kept getting stronger and stronger and stronger, feeding off. So what's wrong? That's a vampire. But if you're going to get that episode on TV, you got to be creative in how you do it. So it's an energy vampire. And that's what they do. They feed off of us being divided, scattered, leaderless, and fighting one another. And they get a kick out of us lying, cheating, and stealing for one another for $50, table scraps, while they collect trillions because they print it all into existence. So this is the work. And you see how the truth comes out of doing the work. So it's the breathing, which is yoga, which then is meditation. And that's the pass key that opens the hallway door, which is the portal, which is the pineal. And then you're face to face with God, as Jacob was in Genesis 32:30. And you're face to face with God in a place called pineal. And there my life was preserved. Why? Because you're coated in honey, because you went through the pineal gland, which is the honey. And my life is preserved because honey is a preservative, and you live forever because it's a preservative. It preserves life, and God has got a living, not of the dead. What does Jesus say to Matthew? Let the dead bury your father. No, you're not. No, you're not leaving and going to catch up with. No, let the dead bury the dead. You're living, so you come with the living. Let's go. We're going now. What a jerk that Jesus is. Oh, he's such a slave driver. That can be an asshole at times. Wow. What's up with this guy? I'm going to teach you the truth. Trying to get you to do the work. And you can't be Lot's wife. You're living in Sodom and Gomorrah, hell upon earth. And God comes along and says, I got a plan for you and your husband and your 2 girls to get the hell out of Dodge and to climb up the Mount of Olives. So get up there. I got a plan for you. Get up there. And as they're leaving, Lot's wife turns around and goes, but I had some good times. I had some good times there. And now she's, a pickled salt pillar. There's no one else to look at but herself, because she was given the passkey and she grabbed a pornographic magazine again because she couldn't let it go. So you got to let these things go. And the breathing will lead you to yoga. And the yoga is going to lead you to meditation. And the meditation is going to lead you to God. And then everything else will take care of itself. And the whole time we'll be there to support and hug and to hold and sing songs and do work together. And you need help with something, that's what we're all there for, because it's all about real family. So good point. Just quickly to interject, a little scenario that has cropped up here, and it's a shame, but it's perfectly normal and natural. And so, like I said, we had a group of people come without our permission because we're not ready for this. I mean, if you want to come now, that's totally fine, but don't purport this to be to everybody else. So don't report back to the rest of the world going, yeah, we're here in Freakville. And Charlie and Colleen think they're so great because they don't even spend any time because we're busy scooping poop. So I don't know how great that makes us think we are scooping poop or something and working like slaves for the dogs. But so it's you're free to do whatever you want, but don't come here and say game on and Freakville is happening, but it isn't what I thought it was going to be. We didn't tell anyone to come. The only person that was supposed to come was Justin, and Justin was only coming simply because he said, you need to write this book. For the benefit of the whole world, you need to write this book. And I need to do whatever I can to help Colleen, deal with all of this so that you can write that book and we can kickstart this thing into motion. And that was it. And then Justin brought Aaron. So we didn't really know until the last second that Aaron was coming. But what a gift. I mean, again, what a gift, because, Justin and Aaron are absolutely amazing. And it's an absolute treasure to have, Aaron here. He's the real deal. What you've been seeing with Justin and Aaron is exactly what they are. The other day, this is, and then you got people calling out Justin saying he's evil. Like this in our family, on the FreakSense family. It's unbelievable. And so the other day we were doing here in this room, which is the upstairs studio, not quite finished, but we're getting there. And I like to have the fans on and or a fan on. And it was couple of days of rain, very weird, because we just don't normally get this weather, but suddenly there's hurricanes in the Western Pacific when there never was. But anyways, so it was overcast and kind of drizzly and rainy for a couple of days here, and it was cool. And so Justin was feeling cool, and he never said a word. And I just noticed partway through that he had a blanket. You probably didn't see it because it was beneath the table, but he had a blanket wrapping up his legs and his midsection and just trying to keep him warm. And he could have said, hey Charlie, would it be okay if you just? But he didn't. He didn't say to turn off the fan because he knew I like to have the fans on. So instead he bared the cold and wore a blanket. So that's evil Justin. So don't you listen to that Justin, because he went to some course that the Clinton Foundation is tied to. Yeah, have any of you been to Disneyland? Have any of you watched a show that was produced by Disney? Did you used to believe in space rockets and NASA at some point? Right? All guilty of that kind of thing. So guilt by association doesn't cut it, my friends. And so the entire time that Justin's been in our community, Justin's been this shining light for truth. And and I didn't tell anyone I was going to do this. I was just called to do this by God. And then I waded in fiercely because I wear the diamond, I wear the armor of God. And I had no fear. And I laid into Charlie Ward, and I've continued to do that to all the people that are trying to use and abuse you because they can't stand you, because they can't stand themselves. And they're just trying to take your money away from you. They're a pack of grifters, and they're just a bunch of hyenas, and they're just trying to steal from you. And they just tell lie after lie after lie, and they steal from us to give you, some truth that they don't quite fully, understand. And this is that realm. And when I waded into all of that, I never asked Justin to stand up and Justin, you better stand next to me and you better be okay with me. I never uttered a word to anyone, not even Colleen. Everyone's free to do what they want to do. It's totally okay. It's all good. There's nothing to worry about. There isn't. God is the only thing that's real. He exists in every single moment. Just get busy with that. Get busy with being you and doing what you need to do and knowing you wear the armor of God, and that the evil is all just the delusion, because it's just you think temporarily that God isn't real and that you're alone, you're separated and that you're a victim and blah, 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 blah. None of it's true. All that exists is God. You have no problems. There are no problems. So when I was weighing into this to protect to protect you beautiful children that Colleen and I love so much, and hate to see you lied to and fooled, and your hard-earned money taken away from you by everyone. We said some things, and then Justin stood firm and tall, and he was just like, no, what you're doing is right, Charlie. And so I'm not, you don't have to thank me. What you're doing is right. And that's what Justin's been like. And then what was Justin like? Because we have no time, and there's all we want to do is answer your questions. All we want to do is be able to help you on a day-to-day basis. It's not possible. And it really hurt Colleen and I in the beginning as things grew out of control. But there's just nothing we can do, because at the base core is looking after our extended family, is looking after our beautiful children, our now 56 animals here. So it's just a reality. So then Justin stood and he said, you can call me. And then Justin would stay up all night long taking phone calls from everyone and trying to help. And that's what Justin is. And, you know, we had a situation where I was made aware of Justin's affiliation with this organization back in 2019. And then literally 14 hours later, we're scheduled to be the Q&A on the Friday, just the other day. 14 hours later was going to be the Q&A with Justin. And it was like, you know, you better not be doing that show with Justin, because, you know, he's evil and he's a liar and stuff. And this is people within our community. And then it's like, we don't have time to go through any of this stuff, but we will, because if you're taking it seriously and you know, on the surface they're looking, I have to look into this. So then I barely slept that Thursday night, having to go through all of this stuff. And then I just made a list in the morning. I left an early message for Justin. I said, when you get up, just give us a call. When he did, I broached him about this. He never flinched for a second. And I said, this is what I'd like you to do. And I'd like you to go to the website, address these sort of certain things, and then, you know, get back to me, and we'll talk about this. And he did. And everything that Justin said was simple, easy, flow, truthful, no voice fluctuation, no tenseness, no looking away, no tweaking or anything. It was just same old Justin. And he was hurt by the fact that of all the service that he's given had earned him nothing with this group of people who were going, you're guilty by association, and damn you. And then suddenly, incredibly, it was damn you and Colleen, because you're standing by Justin when clearly he is just evil and a liar. It's like, when has Justin ever lied to you? His teachings are gorgeous. And there he is, selflessly, for free, reaching out to take your calls all day and all night to help, because that's what he's about. I'm not gonna cast that away. I'm not gonna betray my friend. What would Jesus Christ do? Patience is a virtue. If there's an issue here, the truth will come to light. Don't make me in 12 hours make a decision and cast someone away because you're all done. And so, which is the crazy energy, and which is the goodly energy? The one who's relaxing. Well, I don't think. I spend a lot of time around Justin, and I get a really fantastic vibe with Justin. So I'm gonna trust my intuition and my senses that he's a great guy, and he's part of our family, and we love him dearly. But, you know, like I said to Justin as well, only you know you, and only you know what's going on inside of you. So if Judas be Judas, then I'll cross that bridge when we get there. Until then, he's my brother. He ain't heavy. He's my brother, and I love him, and I love Aaron. And I'm not throwing these people under the bus because somebody says you're guilty by association. What would Jesus Christ do? What I ask myself all the time. not Jesus Christ at all, but I want to bring him back to life. I want to resurrect him from the tomb and allow him to do his thing and heal everybody else. And if it means that I have to be in my temple and I have to hold the weight of the world on the top of my temple to allow all of this to occur by staying in this heightened state, by staying in this connectivity to God and being able to share with you all of the, like, some of the stuff that comes out of me amazes me. So it's not me. You just need to know and it's so obvious. So the beauty of this entire process about first the food, then the breathing, then the yoga, then the meditation, what you learn is that the brilliance is God, and that all we had to do was get in alignment, which is a frequency, right? So Tesla got it all right. It's all energy, frequencies, vibrations, and pulses. Tesla got it all right. And so it's just where we tune ourselves. And I've chosen for the longest time now to stay tuned into 107.1 FM with God. And I'm just passing on all of this for free. And you never, ever have to worry that it's going to change or whatever. And, and the stuff that Colleen and I are doing behind the scenes and the amount of our money that is going out for the benefit of everybody else. And we don't talk about this shit because there's no value to it. And it just makes us seem less than holy when we talk about this stuff. But I mean, the website is going to be brilliant. Tony's doing an amazing job with the website. And it is going to be brilliant. It's going to be a revolutionary. It truly is. And if censorship is finally lifted, it's going to reach millions and millions of people, because this is the truth. And it's about God. And everybody wants to learn the truth about God. Everybody wants to come home and connect back to God. So this is going to be the biggest thing in the world. It totally is. And I'm going to be really famous. And what's the first thing I'm going to say? It's not me. Don't make me into any idol or any special this or that. I was the camel at the eastern gate of Jerusalem, and on my hands and knees I said, Father, I just got this wrong forever, and I'm sorry. I want to apologize to you first, being an idiot, but can I come in from the cold? Will you let me in? And God's like, get your ass in here. Come on, let's go. Come on, let's do this thing. And that's what it's been. No slacking about and stuff. Colleen and I are the two hardest working people that you could possibly know. And we'd like to have some more time to just have some relaxation as well. It doesn't have to be hard work all the time. It's just what we're being called to do right now. But again, listen to what I'm saying. It's not me. It's not me. It just means that all I did is I said, Father, you know it all. You are perfection. And the mother is grace. And I love the two of you so much. Let me in. Let me be a part of this. And I will serve you to the best of my ability. And I don't want anything in return. Nothing. And that's what this is all about, is service to others, which is what God told me from the very beginning. Said, my son, just help those that cannot help themselves until they can help themselves, and then ask them to pay it forward. It's all I've done. All I've done. It's all Colleen has done. It's what we are about. It's what Justin has been doing. And some of you want to throw him under the bus because guilt by association. It's not me. Not me. So it's this that we're talking about. This is the maturity that we're talking about, not the immaturity of gossiping. Clearly, somebody who's down here has been gossiping and saying less than cordial things back to a group of people who are eating it up. I'm not an idiot. I can put two and two together. I have a really great frontal lobe. I can decode anything. So I know what's going on. And I'm not gonna name names. I'm not gonna say I don't play those games. I don't care. I don't care. And I'm not mad at anyone, and I don't hate anyone. And anyone who has made some transgressions here, all they need to do is make it right. That's it. And then they can start all over again. So that's what God told me to do, is to be like this and to try and lead this way, because God only knows that this is what we need, are bigger people, people that have cells that are filled with air and are flying high so that they can be a light and help others see the light. But it's not my light. If I tried to do this myself, I'd screw it up again. So I'm not ever leaving this temple. I'm not ever going to stop doing this work. That's why I guess I'm Charlie Freak, and this is FreakSense, A FreakSense World, and that's why it's FreakSense TV. Because what do they call people who try to do things authentically through the mother and the father? They call them freaks. The freaks of the 50s became the hippies of the 60s, and they were assassinated. And they've been turned into a drug-induced, dirty, ugly group. And that's the exact opposite of the truth. I'll tell you something about history. Every single one of these celebrated heroes and wonderful people in history are fucking monsters. And every single one of their fucking monsters are beautiful saints. They told you the exact opposite. Adolf Hitler invaded Russia, June 22nd, 1941. June is the 6th month, 622. If thine eye be single, thy whole body will fill with light. I'm going and I'm going to take out the vampires for all of you so that your children don't have to go through what has happened in Europe for 1,000 years with these vampires. I'm going to take out the head of the Hydra. And he almost did. It took the entire world being ruled by these fake Jews that give real Jews a bad name. It took the weight of the entire world to dismantle this tiny nation of brilliant people. And when all of this is done, Colleen and I are absolutely going to backpack across Germany. And we just want to go town to town, community to community, on with our staves and on our feet with backpacks in a tent. And we just want to hug people and just tell them it's not your fault. It's not your fault. And that we love you. And we're here to help you resurrect this glorious tradition and this glorious land. Everything has been wrong, folks. Everything has just been so wrong. And God is just about getting it right. And we get infinite chances to get it right. And now that I have wisdom and I know that I'm protected with the armor of God, I'm not going to stop. I am not going to stop until these evil ones are gone. And the evil ones exist within me, within you, within all of us. We sleep with the enemy every night. It's our ego. The Canaanites, who are the vibrational bloodline of Cain, are the opposite of Abel. We are the children of God. We're ready, willing, and able to do whatever God says. Father, I love you. What can I do to help? Every day, we're the children of God through Abel. And the Canaanites stay in the left brain. And there's no God in the left brain. There's no mother in the left brain. And there's no Santa Claus in the left brain. There's no frontal lobe in the left brain. There's no soul in the left brain. There's no access to the third ventricle in the left brain. There's no melatonin, serotonin, or dopamine in the left brain. The thing is, we're not supposed to hate it, and we're not supposed to kill it. We're supposed to rule over it. Understand, understand, overstand. I'm helping you to understand so that one day you will overstand. You will stand over the under. And the under is your ego. And it pulls you under the bridge. Paul Simon and Art Garfunkel were telling you, take a step in the right direction, and God rolls out a bridge over troubled water. He does it all. He does all the work. You just have to have the intention, because you have to be in the tent. Intention is inside your dome, your firmament. Oh, come on, Charlie. You know, the earth is a sphere, and it's wobbling, tilting, spinning at 5 different directions over 1,000,000 miles an hour through, you know. Nope. Nope. Never moved. Never moved. Because God loves you so much. He's making this as easy as he can for us to find him. And that's doing this work. And I hope I've done a good job tonight in making this sound easy and making it clear what it is. And this process is just going to be a Zoom call with Colleen and I. And what you're going to do is look us square in the eyes, and you're going to tell us your game plan for every day that you rise with your ego. What's your game plan so that you win every single day? And then it's not to stab a sword through the heart of your ego. He who lives by the sword dies by the sword. These are just allegories. The slaying of the dragon is the ruling over. It's the overstanding, the understanding. So you have understanding. So what's your game plan? That's what you'll just have to share with Colleen and I. And if it resonates, welcome. Welcome. And we're family. We don't fight with one another. We just sing songs. We just help one another. Insurance? What's insurance? Well, the barn fell down. Okay, let's build it up. Start tomorrow. What do I owe you? Nothing. Nothing, my brother. Nothing. Because if it ever happened to me, I'm sure you'd help me back. That's how we do things. The right way. The kind way. Because we're mankind. And that's what Charlie Freak's all about, is a kind man. Justin Carpenter is a kind man. And Aaron is a kind man. And Colleen is a kind woman. And all of you, I just go through this list, and I'm seeing Elise and Teresa and Kelly and Amy, Tina and Coach Kathy and Abby and Jamie and Jennifer, and you know, you humble us always by how gorgeous your communication is to one another. You know, you don't need to say wonderful, great things about us. We love to see how you interact with each other. And that's becoming what you are, brothers and sisters, because we are all first stage, first level. That's it. There's no second cousins and third. No, we're brothers and sisters of the one true Father and the one true Mother. And if you infuse magnetism into your life, which is alkalinity, if you infuse magnetism is a scalar wave. It turns on and it never shuts off, and you can live forever. If you embrace their world, which is electricity, which is a transverse wave, which is temporary, and is a downward causation, then it's going to put you into the ground. It's going to bury you 6 feet, 6 inches, and 6 centimeters beneath the ground. It will. That's what their gravity, that's what their electricity will do to you. Magnetism will raise you to God through the mother, and then you're home. That's what this is all about, to boldly go where no man has gone before. And you can't go anywhere until you deal with your ego. And you're not going to stab it through the heart, because he who lives by the sword dies by the sword. It's an allegory. So you're going to put your arm around the ego, and you're going to say, enough, dickweed. Let's get on the same page, and let's do this thing together as best friends. Okay, buddy? I need you. Facts, figures, and logic play a role in this. You can help a ton. Okay? Just stop trying to take over the world. What are we going to do today, brain? Same thing we do every day, Pinky. Help one another. Good answer. Good answer. You've changed. You've grown. You're full of light. So I hope this has helped, and I hope I haven't gone on too far with this. And this is the first podcast I've done in ages because of fake YouTube. and everyone else banning us off of everything. And great thanks to people like Marie and Justin for allowing us to be able to have a place to have a voice to help as best we can. And this channel is hangs by a thread. So this is about as controversial a podcast as you'll get on this channel. But I'll tell you, the next time you see me here, I'm going to do a whole series of shows. They're going to be really fun. I'm going to play a role, and it's going to be fun. But it's going to be the Night Fly on 107.1 FM radio. We're going to play songs. We're going to take calls. We're going to listen. We're going to chat. We're going to talk. We're going to save the world a little bit, and we're going to hear some great music, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But the next show that I do is I want to take you through here on this channel. I want to take you through the zodiac because it's a clock. And you need to be able to read time, real time. And that's the only time that exists is just the passage through the zodiac. And this leads to everything. This is 24, this is 48, this is 72, this is 3 days, 3 nights, this is 1260, and this is how we get to God. And Cancer is at the top of the dial. Cancer is at 12. That's where you have to get to. You have to be 6 and 9. And you're 3, 3, 6, and 9. And if you understand the secrets of 3, 6, 9, you understand the secrets to God's creation of this world. So, and it all revolves around the zodiac, because we're flat and we're stationary. And any astrologer that attempts to teach you and they believe in a globular earth, that's hilarious, because the basis to be able to read your charts and to have them worth a damn is that everything in astrology is based upon stillness, that the earth is at the center and it never moves. That's how everything in reading astrology works. If things were moving, everything that they said would be invalid, and that astrology wouldn't be worth a damn, because everything would be moving and changing all of the time, and it wouldn't mean anything, and it would be far too complex. But it does mean something. It means a ton. It's a snapshot. When you were born, that's a snapshot of you in every possible way. And it's important for you to know this stuff. Santos does an amazing job. Santos, I think, charges $800. But again, you're going to get the truth. And these astrological readings are worth their weight in gold, because it's capturing that snapshot of you. And it's important that you know you. It's important that you know every angle of you. 360 degrees of angles is the wholeness of you in this physical form, which is your crown. And so you need to know that. So we're gonna start with that. We're gonna do another show with Santos. We're going to do a show with Amanda McLeod. Amanda is our wonderful, amazing friend in Australia. And Amanda is a fantastic reader of astrology as well. She uses the exact same method as Santos as well. And so we're going to hope that Amanda will make herself available to be able to do readings for the FreakSense family, because it's very, very, very important that you capture this snapshot and that you hold on to it, and then you begin to incorporate it, because that's you in that moment of creation. And it's magical, and it's the building blocks of who you are. So that'll be the next major show that we do, and that's going to be so fun. It's so much truth. It's just incredible. And it's the one story. It's the one story. Yeah, it's going to be great. And I want to thank you. And it just sounds like everyone has remained very supportive of Justin. I want to thank you for that. Justin is just such a wonderful soul. And I see Kira is in the chat room now. Kira, we love you so much. And Kira is giving a shout out as well. So I really appreciate you doing that and being here. And Jennifer, I haven't called Jennifer's name tonight, but Jennifer is just such a wonderful, very enlightened soul. Nicole, again, Tina, So, wow. Chris, yeah, wow. Paisley, excellent. Excellent. So I love you. I won't drag this on any longer. I'll say goodnight, and I'll try to give you as much advance warning as I can, but I don't really have much of any kind of schedule. I'll just do the best that I can on this channel. If you want to subscribe to it, you can. If you don't want to, that's okay too. And we'll just use this as a wonderful teaching channel, and they'll keep their grubby little black mitts off of us, and we can try and help as much as we can here. So an absolute joy, and thanks everyone for being here. And again, what we're looking at is about 5 or 6 more months to be able to complete sort of the first phase. That'll bring us to around Christmas time. It's dry. It's still so warm. It's just so beautiful. It's a wonderful time to be here. And we'll be able to, open the doors and have people come and visit and get a feel for it. And all of this will just come through this process of a Zoom call together. And it's just going to be, so what's your plan every morning when you wake up? Pinky in the brain. What are you going to do? How are you going to get the brain to say, same thing we do every day, Pinky, help mankind. Be kind by helping mankind. So if you got an idea of how you're going to overstand the understand, then that's the ticket to ride. That's the ticket to ride to Freakville. And then you'll be free. We're not asking anything of anyone. There's nothing in it for us other than friends and family and the grace of seeing you shine, which is what God wants you to do. And that's what he told us to do, which is to just do our best to try and help as many see the light as possible. So I hope all of that helps. Colleen wants to do more shows. We're gonna resurrect our breakfast time chats. Colleen can interrupt me as much as she wants because she's a genius, and they're going to be so much fun. So Colleen and I are going to start to do here on this channel lots of things together as well. So all that's coming. Life is great, my friends. There are no problems. God is all that truly exists. It's only the illusion that he doesn't, and therein lies the problem. So take no thought for your life. Hug your spouse, hug your children, hug your friends, give a cyber hug to everyone, including the enemies, in the hopes that your touch will be the warmth that heals their frost and melts them and allows their heart to beat once again, and allows the grace of the mother to rise them up to the Father. So with that, I love you. Have a beautiful evening. And we'll see you back as soon as I can. I love doing the shows, so I'd love to do as many as I can. It's just simply a question of time. So with that, good night, love you, and I can't wait for the next time. Good night, everyone. Love you.